Greetings, Namibia. I'm Janet Krauses, welcoming you to this NBC News special Heroes Day broadcast. Beside me is our sign language interpreter, Nanda Shipahu. What is the true cost of patriotism when your mother belongs to an entire nation? Media personality Nora Apollos takes us into the life of her mother, Putusi Apollos, popularly known as Mekulu Putusi. As one of the first women to cross into exile during the liberation struggle, Mekulu Putusi served as a SWAPO Central Committee member and a foundational leader of the Pan-African Women's Organization. She never lived to see an independent Namibia, passing away in Zambia in 1986 following a stroke.
On the pages of Namibian history, she was Mekulu Putusi, a selfless freedom fighter, a nurse from the historic old location who defied colonial orders and a foundational pillar of the liberation struggle. Nora Nolele Apollos recalls growing up in a household that doubled as a sanctuary for freedom fighters.
There were always people in the house. It was always full, so we took it as normal. I mean, ever since we were kids, we always had uncles and aunts in the house. So to us it was normal. We really didn't realize that. It was only after we came home, after independence, when she was accorded hero status, that we realized that, oh, okay, yeah, she was a hero.
She described her mother, who was a passionate baker, as loving, caring and strict too, adding that she tried to instill African values.
Well, I remember one day we were in Algeria, living in Algeria, and we didn't have water. So we had to go to a distance to get water. And when she took a bucket, and when she came back, she put this bucket on her head and was carrying this bucket on the head and another one in her hands. And I mean, I was totally shocked. And I looked at her and said, my God, Mom, you can put a bucket on your head? And she said, yeah, I grew up in the village, you know, it's normal.
Apollos emphasized that growing up under the wings of a freedom fighter profoundly shaped her and the two brothers Yomo and Burumba Apollos' characters. Asked if Namibia was doing enough to document and celebrate its liberation heroines, this is what Apollos had to say.
As the daughter of Putusi Apollos, I will always say, no, it's not doing enough. You know, it's not doing enough because the sacrifices that women like my mother and other heroes went through should be sacred. It should be sacrosanct. And it should be taught in schools, it should be in our curricula, it should be applauded, it should be lauded, it should be held high. Because at the end of the day, what we want to see is that never again. And we need to instill this history because the people who don't know where they come from will not know where they are going to. And this is what anchors us. This is what should anchor the Namibian nation. That we should realize that this independence didn't come freely.
Apollos has called for a shift in Namibia's traditional definition of heroism, arguing that national honors should extend beyond those who fought in the political and armed liberation struggle. She suggested that broadening the spectrum would allow younger generations to take greater ownership of national celebrations and identify more closely with modern national figures. Apollos, a veteran journalist, presenter, and media trainer, cited renowned eye specialist Dr. Helena Ndume as a prime example of a contemporary hero. She praised Dr. Ndume for his selfless unpaid work in restoring sight to thousands of cataract-blind patients. By recognizing this modern contribution, Apollos believes the country can foster a more inclusive and meaningful connection to patriotism today. Lahetu Tole, NBC News, Windhoek.
Instilling values of patriotism, unity of purpose and respect for national symbols is at the top of My Namibia, My Pride campaign. The program recognizes the sacrifices of heroes whose contributions continue to support nation building. Through public engagements and education initiatives, the program has managed to change the narrative, one engagement at a time.
The Nationhood and National Pride campaign was first launched in May 2011 by former President Hifikepunye Pohamba and later relaunched in 2015 by late President Hage Geingob with its second phase. The aim is to instill a sense of pride and patriotism among the people of the land of the brave. As part of this effort, the My Namibia, My Country, My Pride campaign is assisting young people to understand ethics and the importance of respecting national symbols.
Through this program, the National Pride program, we recognize all sacrifices by all our heroes and heroines during, of course, the liberation struggle, and of course, the emerging heroes that are contributing to nation building. We are one people, and we must strive toward a common national identity, respect our national symbols, because they give us our identity of who we are as a people. But our heroes, we really appreciate what they have done for this country, and is what we always engage when we go to schools and community to tell our people to really understand where we are coming from as a country, as a nation, because without that background understanding of how we emerged as an independent nation, our youth may be lost.
The ministry is happy with the outcome of the public engagements.
Yeah, a lot of young people have really appreciated the National Pride program, because you remember there was massive public education that was done at independence for, number one, our people to know the words of our national anthem, how to sing them, the protocols and etiquette to be followed when dealing with national symbols. But after some years on, young people tended to forget the observation or the correct observation of our national symbols. Now, through this program, we went out to schools to remind them and engage them to say, when you are singing the national anthem, you must always be on attention. Because a lot of young people, the national anthem is being sung, they used to have their hands in their pockets. When the national flag is being hoisted, they would pass by. But through this engagement, we have noticed that a number of young people have started appreciating these efforts, and they have started observing the correct protocols when it comes to our national symbols.
Andimba Toivo is remembered as one of Namibia's most influential liberation struggle icons, a man known not only for his contribution to the country's independence, but also for his strong connection with ordinary people. For his children, Mutaleni and Nashikoto Toivo, however, his legacy is deeply personal. His twins say growing up, they knew their father as a caring and people-oriented man, but today they often find themselves facing expectations to follow in his footsteps, a pressure they say is difficult to carry.
To many Namibians, Herman Toivo Toivo was a symbol of courage, humility, and service. But to his twins, he was simply their father, a man they remember as someone who cared deeply about their well-being and valued his relationships with people.
We see it differently because he was our father. So we don't see him in the same light that other people see him as. And although we know the sacrifices he had, we appreciate that, and we also appreciate the independence we have because of his sacrifices and many others and their sacrifices. But I think we're grateful.
Growing up with a father whose name is popular in Namibia's history books came with its own challenges. According to the twins, as they meet people today, they are sometimes reminded of their father's legacy, and with that comes an expectation that they should continue where he left off.
For me, I believe that there are other ways that I can continue my father's legacy as opposed to being in the structures, actively rising to a certain position, then being, whatever the roles are that people would want us to be in. But at the end of the day, we have to look at who we are first. We are the daughters of a great hero and obviously our mother, but we'll continue to take what we have learned through our upbringing.
then, so they've created this this image of how or what they thought we were supposed to be like. And once that isn't the case, and it's, they are pleasantly surprised.
For them, carrying the Toivo name does not mean becoming a replica of the man their father was. They say their father's contribution to Namibia is something they respect and cherish. But they also want to be recognized for who they are, with their own personalities, choices, and journeys.
But do I want to live up to that legacy, or do I want to continue their legacy but also try to pave my own? So I think personally I'd like to do the latter, with implementations of different things that we've taken from our parents.
Their story is one of legacy, but also of identity. As Namibia continues to remember Toivo, his twins say perhaps the greatest way to honor him is not by trying to become him, but by carrying forward the values he taught them while remaining true to themselves.
One of the things, our father was very passionate about education, and so when we do at some point eventually launch the foundation in his name, it will focus on education, which is something it's fundamental, and it's at basic level of any child development.
For the twins, their father's legacy remains a source of pride, but also a reminder that even the children of national icons must be allowed to write their own chapters. Dr. Nashikotoya Toivo is a qualified doctor of veterinary medicine, while her twin sister Mutaleni is a master's graduate in architecture. She is also a model of note, while at the same time serve on an advisory board within the international gaming industry.
Every person has their own way of selecting a hero, depending on the cultural and historical background, as well as political affiliation. This also involves the ideological background. Those are the words of UNAM's history senior lecturer, Dr. Vilo Shiweda, in an interview on what defines heroism. The following insert fills us in more.
Dr. Vilo Amukwaya Shiweda holds a PhD from the University of Western Cape and is an author and researcher focusing on Namibian history, genocide, the liberation struggle, and heritage studies.
When you talk about heroism generally from a generic approach, I think you speak about a person who shows great courage, bravery, and a person of noble qualities.
Namibians around the globe pause on the 26th of August annually to commemorate the Namibian War of Independence, which began on 26 August 1966 at Umuguluwombashe in the Umsati region. However, Dr. Shiweda noted that when it comes to equal recognition of heroes and heroines, there is still a lot to be done. He further advised the National Heroes Advisory Committee to look into women, churches, and some business people that stood firm with the liberation fighters.
They provided medicine to plan combatants when they were suffering from malaria or other diseases, or when they were wounded. But I mean, I haven't seen them being recognized.
The lecture also raised concern about the lack of interest and funding for younger generations to study history at high-level institutions.
So I think I also have to blame our government that they don't really attach importance, and also institutionalize this one to history. That's why we have very few students who are doing history, and these are undergraduate students. We don't have example.
For historian Dr. Shiweda, true remembrance means widening the circle to also recognize women, churches, and business supporters who sustained the struggle and investing in the next generation of historians.
According to him, a nation that undervalues its history risks losing the moral compass that guides its future.
For many children, a home is more than just a place to live. It is where they find love, belonging, and hope. An orphan who formerly lived in Hope Village, an orphanage in Windhoek, has returned to give the same love that once changed his own life. Boma Nanyemba is now carrying forward the legacy of the late founder, Mariki de Klerk, dedicating his life to giving vulnerable children a family and a future.
This is Hope Village, situated in the Koreahap area of Katutura. Today, the orphanage is run by a former resident, Boma Nanyemba, whose story is intertwined with Hope Village itself. Once an orphan living within these very walls, he was raised with love and guidance by the late founder, Mariki de Klerk, who dedicated her life to caring for children in need. Before her death on the 14th of March 2025, de Klerk recognized the compassion, strength, and leadership within him. Believing he would continue her life's mission, she entrusted him with the future of Hope Village. Inspired by her faith in him, he pursued his tertiary education and holds an honors degree in criminal justice. And in his last year of his master's degree, he took on a leadership change management course at NAST. Despite achieving a professional success, he made the extraordinary decision to leave his career behind to answer a greater calling, to return home and become a father figure to the very children who now walk the same path he once did.
So when I found myself being asked to contribute in the fairness or in the administration of Hope Village, this sparked that light of mine of restorative justice, to restore that justice that has been taken away from people. So I always felt like, wow, I think I should take this course because it speaks rightly to what I want to do, or what I always wanted to do.
Nanyemba now runs the home with daily operations, community outreach programs, and fundraising to provide children with a stable family-like environment. Together with a team of passionate and dedicated volunteers of 4 fathers and 21 mothers on the ground, he continues de Klerk's legacy. Some of the children were raised in the village from a very young age, growing up there through their childhood and into their teenage years. The village has become an important part of their lives and upbringing. Christophine Martin came to Hope Village in 2017. Today, at 17 years old, she has grown into a beautiful young woman. She enjoys building meaningful friendships and surrounding herself with people who inspire her and have a positive influence on her life.
I see Boma as my hero because Boma is a loving person. He taught us always to love others and to help. Boma always tries to help people whenever he can, and he always makes sure that whenever we need opportunities or we need something, he will always try his best to search and find it for us.
As Namibia prepares to commemorate Heroes Day, questions are being raised about why fewer young people appear to participate in national commemorations. Experts say the problem may be rooted in how history is being taught and how these events are presented to younger generations.
For some young Namibians, national commemorations such as Heroes Day may feel disconnected from their everyday lives. Senior history lecturer at the University of Namibia, Dr. Vilo Shiweda, says this could be because many young people lack a strong understanding of the country's history and the sacrifices made during the liberation struggle.
No, they find these stories boring because they don't have background knowledge and understanding. And as I said earlier, because their parents, for example, did not teach the values of what happened during the liberation struggle to them. It's irrelevant to them.
Shiweda argues that the declining interest in history is also linked to the limited importance given to the subject in education and government support.
Students who want to do history, they don't receive funding from government. Not at all. It's all about science, mathematics, and things like that. But how can you talk about the importance, we attach importance to mathematics, to science, when you don't attach importance to history? History is the foundation of humanity.
A veteran journalist, Nora Apollos, believes the format of national commemorations also needs to change. She says organizers must recognize that audiences, particularly young people, are consuming information differently in the age of social media.
The attention span of young people today is very, very limited, very small. They get bored even adults, the attention span of adults has decreased exponentially because of social media, television, etc.
Apollos says lengthy speeches and traditional formats may no longer be enough to keep young people engaged.
So we have to do things different. We can't do things the way we did them 20 years ago. It's not going to work, and you're going to keep people away.
She also believes the definition of a national hero should be broadened to include people from different walks of life, giving young Namibians an opportunity to identify with the people being honored. Both experts are clear. Preserving Namibia's history may require more than remembering the past. According to them, it may also require finding new and creative ways to make that history meaningful to the generation of today.
To capture how residents in the South view the legacy of freedom, the evolution of rural development, and the dreams of the born-free generation, NBC reporter Charmaine Boyce compiled this special package on what Heroes Day means to the South of the country. Let's take a look.
So, I understand that Heroes Day is a day of remembrance and gratitude. It's a reminder of the people who sacrificed for our country, Namibia. And I would like Namibia going forward to create more opportunities for us as young people to learn and to participate in activities fully. I believe that we can honor our heroes best when we use the freedom that they fought for to create a better Namibia for the generation coming after us.
Heroes Day is all about us as fellow Namibians to commemorate on this day and to also be able to share experiences on how our liberation veterans and our heroes and heroines struggled and fought so hard to be able to gain independence and the freedom that we enjoy today.
Heroes Day for me is remembering the people or the heroes that fought for the liberation of our country and for us to be free in this Namibia today.
My Namibian hero is, I would say, Dr. Sam Nyoma. He has really inspired me. I always watch his videos on YouTube and it always inspires me to such an extent that I can be able to contribute effectively and meaningfully in our region and beyond in our country. And
my hero is Madame Monica Kenkos, our former First Lady. She reminds me that when a woman is educated, compassionate and influential while staying true to herself, she can inspire the lives of many young people, including mine. And that's qualities I would like to carry into my journey one day.
For me, it would definitely be Her Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, because she's the first ever president, female president for that matter. And during the time of Dr. Sam Nyoma, she was around. During the time of His Excellency Hifikepunye Pohamba, she was still around. During the time of His Excellency late Hage Geingob, she was also around. And she has always been around. She has learned. And for that matter, I want to say that Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah is my hero.
30 years after Namibia's historic success at the 1996 Olympic Games, the Bank of Namibia has completed a tribute decades in the making. The central bank presented Olympic legend Frankie Fredericks with a commemorative silver coin that was minted in his honor in 1996, but was never formally handed to him. Born in Windhoek on 2nd October 1967, Frankie Fredericks could never have imagined that one day the world would know his name. Like many other children from Katutura, young Fredericks followed natural talent in both football and athletics. Nonetheless, it was on the track where his extraordinary gift began to shine. It was a gift that would change his life and ultimately help write a new chapter in Namibia's sporting history. Fredericks rose from humble beginnings in Namibia to the grandest stages of world athletics, becoming one of the finest sprinters of his generation. 4 Olympic silver medals, world champion, Commonwealth champion, African champion. He became the first Namibian to stand on an Olympic podium and placed Namibia on the global sporting map.
If it was not for the Olympic Committee, I think it would have been very difficult for me to be where I'm at, because they believed in me before I even believed in myself. When I look back, my mind always returns to Katutura, and that's why I wanted to make sure I honor the people that were there at the beginning. It allowed me to dream beyond the boundaries of the circumstances, and they taught me that no journey worth taking is ever taken alone.
Every moment the world looked up and saw Namibia's flag flying with pride. His courage, his excellence, and his unforgettable legacy. Earlier this year, the Bank of Namibia decided to honor this exceptional hero, as explained by the financial institution's boss, Epson Wanguta.
The coin itself is a rich symbolism. One side, it bears the image of a cheetah, representing the speed, the strength, the determination, and also the resilience. The qualities that define Mr. Fredericks throughout his career. The reverse, of course, of that coin carries the coat of arms of the Republic of Namibia. That symbolizes our sovereignty, our unity, and the national identity. Together, all this, they capture the enduring connection between an exceptional athlete and the nation he represented.
From all of us here at the NBC Newsroom, we wish you a reflective and peaceful Heroes Day. Let us continue to build a prosperous Namibia, bound by bravery and driven by solidarity. Thank you so much for watching. From me, Janet Clauses, it is goodbye.
This is NBC One. It's ours.